今天我为40位女老板举办了一场特殊的婚礼，没有新郎，主角只有我们自己，因为这是一场嫁给自己的婚礼。现场布置是极其唯美的深系风，当一群穿着婚纱的女王缓缓出场时，真的很震撼。我希望让世界看到中国女性的力量，每一位女性都有很多重身份，是女儿，是妻子，是妈妈，是老板。我们每一天都在为事业、为家庭奔波，甚至为了别人委屈自己。今天这场嫁给自己的婚礼，每位女老板都分享了对自己想说的话，还邀请了国内知名皇冠设计师阿布老师为大家戴上属于自己的皇冠，有的人当场洒下热泪。这里面有难过，有感动，但更多的是自我觉醒后的幸福。我们历经千帆，归来仍是少女。我们不要活在别人的定义里，而是要真正忠于自己的内心，就如我们在礼堂一起宣下的誓言。男人给不了的浪漫，咪妮姐来给。朱雀会就是这样一群既会搞事业又有旺盛生命力的女老板的平台，你想参加吗？
我知道小仙女能整事儿，没想到小仙女能整这么离谱的事儿。
I knew these little fairy girls could make trouble, but I didn't expect them to do something this outrageous. On March 8th in Shanghai, a group of relatively older single women gathered and organized a collective wedding where they married themselves. You heard that right, they couldn't get married, so they held a group wedding and married themselves, marrying themselves to themselves. The title was, "The best marriage in the world is marrying yourself, and the best love is loving yourself. If you can't get married, then you can't get married. If nobody wants you, then nobody wants you. This is really just self-comfort." To put it nicely, it's called marrying yourself. To put it more tactfully, it means you're older and nobody wants you anymore, and there's really no other way. It's like expired food in a supermarket. If it isn't discounted before expiration, it just gets thrown away in the end. If you're going to hold a wedding, then just hold a wedding, but having a few small cakes and some cucumber sticks at the wedding, isn't that too shabby? Can something like this really be called a wedding? Also, since you are holding a wedding, is the bride price paid to yourself? Don't you always say bride price is security? Then when you marry yourself, is the security given by yourself, or by your parents? Do you think this is just an isolated case? Last year there were also several women who held weddings, also marrying themselves, and it went viral online. The bride and groom were both themselves, and the funniest thing is they didn't even hire a host, the host was also themselves. Is marrying yourself supposed to be this shabby? No bride price, no house, no car, no security, no sense of safety, and not even a host. You host it yourself and then marry yourself. Now that's quite reasonable, you're not bargaining with yourself anymore. The key point is that at her own wedding where she married herself, she still collected gift money. Who can you even complain to about that? The way these women think is really strange. A group of women who look quite old held a collective wedding, but instead of marrying men, they married themselves, and they call this loving themselves. These women have already lost competitiveness in the dating market, and for years they haven't met men they like or men who meet their standards. Marrying themselves is indeed a relatively dignified way to retreat. I really do admire them. Women's logical self-healing ability is really high, extremely high as a 3-story building. When they can't get married and nobody wants them, they marry themselves, hold a wedding to collect gift money, and don't even hire a host, no house, no car, no bride price. This kind of thinking, honestly speaking, no normal human could come up with it, only you could. It can be considered that these older single women have found a new way, which is a way to solve their marriage problem, which is marrying themselves. You really have your ways.
我42岁，没有结婚也没有小孩。我也经常问自己一个问题：如果我一直这样单下去，到老了生病了，躺在病床上没有人照顾怎么办？我在20-30岁的时候从来没有想过这样的问题，总觉得自己还年轻，不着急，一定能碰到那个对的人。但是随着时间的流逝，随着年龄的增大，我发现我越来越孤独，越来越害怕，越来越焦虑。有人跟我说，你这个年纪没有孩子的牵绊，没有婚姻的一地鸡毛，多好呀。其实我真的很害怕没有陪伴的老去，更害怕生病和孤独。
我们身边很多女孩子70几年的。
I and many girls around me, including those born in the 1970s, and many DINK couples. Many of them caught the peak of economic development when they were young and made some money, so they became inflated and drifted, so they felt that they didn't need to build a family, they were already great on their own. I used to be like that too. Who are you? I didn't even want to marry you, right? When you are young, no one regrets anything, there is plenty of time and plenty of youth to waste. But when reaching 45 years old, I actually see many friends around me starting to regret it. Women born in the 1980s have already entered a midlife crisis, and that is very frightening. At that time, if you want to have children again, men don't really mind, right? They can find younger girls, but for women, finding younger boys is useless. I actually spent some time browsing dating apps, and I found that most of the young people there are post-90s, and many post-00s have already come out to find partners, forming a sharp contrast with us. So I made a post saying that after being quiet for many years, when I suddenly turned back and thought about finding a partner again, I realized that I had to compete with girls in their 90s for partners. So this is reality giving me a hard slap. Pursuing self-value is something we must do, but it does not prevent me from finding a partner, nor does it prevent me from getting married and having children. Everyone's path is the same. You should get married when it's time to get married, and have children when it's time to have children. You must not miss many beautiful things, and you should not give up marriage because of these things.
心情好烦躁啊，好想去看电影啊，但是却没有人陪，但是又没有人陪，连个伴都没有。每天忙忙碌碌的，也不知道在忙些啥。20多岁的时候，好多人介绍我，都是我挑别人。现在呢，条件好的都结婚了，只能怪自己年轻的时候太挑了。现在呢，快40岁了，挑都没得挑了。条件差的我看不上，条件好的又结婚了。20多岁的时候只想好好努力买房买车，然后呢，房子买了，车子没买了，但是呢，自己却被剩下了。然后感觉有一些东西确实是身外之物，因为家人的陪伴跟爱人的陪伴是不一样的。现在想一想真的是大错特错，因为现在如果想结婚再生个孩子已经变成高龄产妇了，如果想再生2、3个估计也有点困难了，错过了最佳的生育年龄，又错过了最好的选择机会，所以伴侣越来越难了，只能选择独自承受吧。
In fact, being older is the smallest problem among these older single women. Age is only the result of them being left over, not the cause. Many women were not short of suitors when they were young, but in relationships, they constantly consumed men's patience and eventually drove away those who were truly willing to give. They were not hurt. They actively filtered out all the men who could accept them. And the reasons that caused these problems are, first, once they enter a relationship, they constantly talk about emotional value. For so-called emotional value, they continuously test men through unreasonable behavior. If there is even a slight impatience, they start cold wars, block contacts, and propose breakups, claiming it is to see whether he loves them enough. But the reality is, men can tolerate it a few times, but they will never tolerate a partner who is emotionally unstable for a long time. Second, they label themselves as independent women, but in reality, they are economic parasites. They shout independence and autonomy, but in reality, they live paycheck to paycheck or even in debt, yet expect men to bear all financial responsibilities. They twist independence into, your money is my money, and my money is still my money. With such double standards, which man would not avoid them? Third, they play word games. They turn wanting money into wanting attitude. For example, in bride price and material requirements, they are best at packaging naked interests as wanting attitude, saying I don't want money, I want your attitude. But if a man truly has no house and no car, they run faster than anyone. This kind of hypocritical rhetoric only makes men feel calculated. Fourth, their own partner selection standards are detached from reality. Yet they blame all men for not being good enough. For example, they earn 5,000 yuan a month, but require men to earn millions annually. They have bad tempers, but expect men to tolerate everything. They never reflect on themselves, but instead think all good men are blind. This kind of cognitive bias makes them go further and further down the road of being single. What men dislike is not their age. Age can be tolerated, but a willful personality, no one is willing to pay for that.